Gary Gensler just admitted that a spot Bitcoin ETF is inevitable. Something big is happening in crypto. JPMorgan Chase says Ethereum will likely outperform Bitcoin in 2024. But wait a minute, didn't Jamie Dimon just FUD crypto to Congress last week?
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have been built up over many years, know your customers, sanctions, OFAC, they can get bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
But if you pull the curtain back and look to see what they're actually doing instead of just what they're saying, you will see that JPMorgan is currently changing its business model to incorporate and fit into an ever-increasingly crypto world.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JPMorgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
So what's their why? Why are they saying that Ethereum will likely outperform Bitcoin next year? JPMorgan expects Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in 2024. Quote, "We believe that next year, Ethereum will reassert itself and recapture market share within the cryptocurrency ecosystem," JPMorgan analyst wrote in a note on Wednesday. He continues, "The main catalyst for this is the EIP 4844 upgrade, or proto-dank sharding, which is expected to take place during the first half of 2024. We believe that this Ethereum upgrade will likely prove a bigger step towards improving Ethereum network activity, thus helping Ethereum to outperform." Now, if you're unfamiliar, proto-dank sharding is an initial step towards the full implementation of dank sharding, a more efficient form of sharding for Ethereum. This upgrade is particularly beneficial for layer 2 networks like Arbitrum and Optimism, as it provides an additional temporary data space to increase network throughput and reduce transaction fees for layer 2 networks on ETH. In essence, data blobs enhance the efficiency of layer 2 networks without altering the Ethereum block size. So this is going to make doing transactions on Ethereum very cheap. This is going to make Ethereum itself very, very usable for builders, for users, for dApps. You know, I think JPMorgan is right to analyze Ethereum in this way, because even listening to Vitalik says after this upgrade, Ethereum will pretty much be 100% done, meaning ready for prime time, ready for mainstream.
When can we call Ethereum done, if we really have to call it done? End of 2023. 2023 is going to be the year when rollups really come to maturity. We have 4844 that gives rollups more space, and we have the trading wheels on rollups that really get weakened a lot. That kind of gets us to like most of sharding being finished, and then rollups going fully trustless, and then there's full dank sharding. For me personally, I think after the changes, that would be the first points where I would feel comfortable saying, even if nothing else happens past that point, I would be happy with Ethereum. If we need to, we can stop there. We're not going to stop there, right? And we want to kind of like go ahead and try to actually make sure that the Ethereum ecosystem can support 500 million users before the bull where 500 million users are knocking on the door actually ends up happening. That's probably the next part of the future, the transition from Ethereum as this kind of very theoretical ecosystem that's still discovering and finding itself, to Ethereum as an ecosystem that actually is, tries to be useful and usable and, secure and all of those things, and like actually provide value for hundreds of millions of people.
So it's interesting that JPMorgan realizes this about Ethereum. They're paying attention, and they're changing their business model around to fit their investment thesis. And this is the time to make your cryptocurrency predictions for the next year. I'm curious to know what you think in the comments below. Something I think. I shared a series of these. Subscribe to us on X to see the full list. But one of my predictions for this coming year is Solana becomes a top 5 blockchain by market cap and users, and then speculation for a Solana ETF will begin. What do you think about this? Hey, let me know your predictions in the comments below. The fact is this. If you believe something has a fundamental, durable value prop and it is being fudded to all hell by everybody on this site, that's the time to accumulate. This has been true since forever. Ask the Sol Bros from the Deep Bear who bought it when the chorus here was saying that it was dead. And I'm extremely bullish on the next year of cryptocurrency. And I get it. Making your first $10,000 trading altcoins is hard. But once you achieve this, the next $10,000 becomes that much easier. Do you realize that combined with the ETF, the Bitcoin halving is one of the biggest catalysts we have in crypto? There are 5 phases of the Bitcoin halving. This is the ultimate guide for 2023 and 2024. You can see the phases right here. Let's let Rect Capital describe this to you. Enjoy this 1-minute summary right here.
We're going to be focusing on the 5 phases of the Bitcoin halving. The pre-halving period is when we see lots of upside deviation, lots of downside deviation, and also sometimes just plain consolidation. And after that pre-halving period, we'd see a pre-halving rally 2 months before the halving event. In 2016, we saw a breakout from this reaccumulation range to new highs, but in 2019, we had to first crash before recovering in a V-shaped reversal to rally to these highs that we've struggled with before entering into a pre-halving retrace, which is phase 3. Can be anything from 20% downside to 38% downside. But once we clear beyond all those phases, we tend to see reaccumulation, and the same thing occurs after halving 2016 as well. And then finally, phase 5, where we see post-halving parabolic price action. Once we break out from the reaccumulation range of multiple weeks, maybe even multiple months, we tend to see parabolic price action towards the upside all the way to new all-time highs.
And look, Satoshi Nakamoto is actually more of a genius than people realize when it comes to Bitcoin's tokenomics and the halvings. Bitcoin's halvings align with US elections. Did you realize this? Kevin Swenson explains here.
A lot of people admire Satoshi Nakamoto's genius in creating Bitcoin, but his genius actually goes a little further than that. If you look at the Bitcoin halving events, you have them plotted on your chart and you look at where they are with the S&P 500, and then you also bring up the US election cycle and plot that on the chart, well, they both line up pretty much at the same exact time. The halvings always take place during US elections, and this is something that is, in my opinion, intentional, done by Satoshi. Usually we have the halving just before the election and inauguration. Same thing in 2021, halving takes place just before the election and inauguration. And in this case, that will happen once again. April will be the halving, then followed by the election. And usually on average, what we have is a bullish market going into these election cycles. Turns out Satoshi's genius goes a lot deeper than we thought.
Hey, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We bring you one video every day, keeping you informed on everything going on in crypto. And again, you need to know what to look for. You need to know who to follow to really see what's going on. So what are we talking about? Well, Google has just updated its crypto ad policy amid January spot Bitcoin ETF anticipation. So Google updates its crypto ad policy for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Check this out. Google is revising its crypto ad policy to include the advertising of cryptocurrency coin trusts targeting the United States. The recent update, due to be enacted on January 29th, will enable Google certified advertisers to promote such products, provided that they meet the tech giant's requirements. This change will allow crypto coin trusts to serve ads targeting the US, provided they complete our certification process and have voluntarily registered with the SEC by filing Form 1012G. And this is not a one-off thing. This is a continuation. Google's crypto policies have regularly been updated over time. In September, Google enabled advertisers to promote NFT games using its services as long as they are not advertising gambling-related content. In April, Google allowed the promotion of hardware wallets. In June 2021, Google's rules were updated to allow crypto software hot wallet promotion targeting the US, in addition to cryptocurrency exchanges. And with BlackRock and others meeting with the SEC about their ETFs on a near daily basis, Gary Gensler is quietly admitting defeat on Bitcoin ETFs. He says, quote, "We're taking a new look at this based on court rulings." There's a lot going on in cryptocurrency, my friends. Make sure you subscribe. Gary Gensler just admitted that a spot Bitcoin ETF is inevitable.
Approval process going for a spot Bitcoin ETF. I know you're facing a window in early January. What does that look like?
Well, Sarah, we have, I think it's between 8 and a dozen filings. I'm a chair of a commission. I'm not to prejudge anything, so that's going through the process right now. And as you might know, we had in the past denied a number of these applications, but the courts here in the District of Columbia weighed in on that. And so we're taking a new look at this based upon those court rulings.
Market's excited about it.